Welcome, everybody. It is time for Three Guys Before the Game. It's Christmas week already. Hopefully, you have got everything. I'm sure you do. Everything purchased that needs to be purchased. Sure, it's all done. It's been wrapped by you with care. I was thinking about that myself. There's a whole business there, I think, of finding people to wrap your gifts. Like a whole sub-business. Just find someone, identify them, they wrap gifts, you pay them, it's good for them, it works for you, your gifts are well wrapped. You ever think about that?
Doesn't that already happen?
I think I know of someone I've identified I'm going to approach to see if they will.
Oh, you're talking personal experience there.
Yeah, I can't wrap them. You saw that one thing under my desk, didn't you? That's a gift?
No.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Can't say what it is.
Did I already make fun of it?
You went like, what is that? What is that?
You checked it all up?
No, you can't wrap it. But anyway, it's a whole nother story.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah.
How do you wrap that?
Well, I'm going to give you a pass on that.
Yeah.
Can you wrap it if it's in a regular box?
I can, but it's
like
not
if it's a
well.
regular shaped box?
Yeah, but not well.
I think you can. I think that's just a you don't want to issue. I think you probably could.
That could be it, too. Three Guys Before the Game. Welcome in, everyone. This is the 339th one of these. The title, Road Fun and Previewing Penguins. West Virginia victorious on Saturday against the Blazers of UAB. We'll get into it in detail.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Episode what?
339.
Oh.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. I thought I heard something totally different.
What'd you think?
I thought you said 391.
339.
And I thought, how could we be that close to 400?
No, 339.
I'm off to a good start this week.
Yeah, we're good. It's a good show. That's why people listen for some reason. Three Guys presented to us by Caesars Sportsbook. Download, get started. Risk-free bet of up to $1,001. Comax Business Systems, your full-service Conica Minolta dealer. Visit them at comaxwv.com. By Burdett Camping Center. They happen to be the only warranty forever dealer in the state of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettcamping.com. Once you buy it and own it, the warranty lasts forever as long as you own it. And by West Virginia Game Changer. Trying to build healthy, addiction-free lives in West Virginia. You can help West Virginia families become a game changer. Go to wvgamechanger.com. That's wvgamechanger.com. Text questions, we have those, plus a whole lot more. Oh, yeah, he's not here. Senator is Dean out. Had another event, right?
Believe so.
He did. He's working these college football bowl games. He's the host of these college football bowl games. Brad's involved as well. Brad has priorities. He said, no, I'm going to do Three Guys. And Hoppy went and is going to host the bowl this afternoon. So what's he make? Another $13? Is that what you guys are getting?
No, $6 or $7.
$6 or $7. So Hoppy said, hey, it's Christmas. Things are a little tight. I thought I'd go in there for that extra $6 or $7. So Kercheval is out.
Was a good start to the bowl season over the weekend, though.
Some
upsets.
Yeah. How about
football?
How about Western Kentucky laying it on Appalachian State?
Bailey Zappi, hello. Unbelievable year for him.
How many touchdowns?
62 on the year.
Is that bizarre?
Passes Joe Burrow's LSU single-season record.
Put that in context. That's 5+ a game.
They were throwing it. Came up just 33 yards short of 6,000. You were talking the other day about how that bugs you when weird stats line like that. And I'm with you. If I see that, that makes me crazy too. 33 yards passing.
How many times in his career did he have a screen that got blown up, lost yardage? Huh? Not his fault.
So anyway, good start to the bowl season.
All right, we jump in here. Mountaineers on Wednesday play their final game before the Christmas break, taking on the Penguins of Youngstown State. It's part of the Bob Huggins coaching return trip. We had Andy Kennedy, a former assistant for Hugs, on Saturday. Now we've got Jared Calhoun, a former assistant. Jared is with Youngstown State. They're pretty good. I was starting to do their numbers last night. Collection of guys. I keep saying this. It is head-shaking what rosters are nowadays in college basketball. It's unbelievable when you start to dig in. Every team has multiple players who have played at multiple schools. It's almost like a board game now, where I look like, okay, here's the next guy, Brad Howe, 6'4", 205, big scorer. Let's see, what's Brad? Well, Brad's a redshirt junior, let's say. Let's see, Iowa. Start doing the dig. Well, played one season at this junior college, then played 2 seasons at this school, played 1 season here. Now he's at Youngstown State. And that's just not Youngstown State. Every team we play, multiple schools, which was 20 years ago, unheard of.
Yes.
You had guys would transfer not once, but twice. Maybe. And of the twicers, it was probably 2 or 3 at the most on a roster, 2 times. Now, if you have guys that are just 2, that's kind of like, boy, they haven't done much. And that's only going to get more and more like that.
And you'll keep saying it when you get in the Big 12. This isn't just a non-conference thing. The Big 12 teams, you're going to be, and Texas is right around the corner. They're going to be one. Start going down their roster. They're a prime example. That's Texas. So that's what it is.
Here's
part of what it is.
When you get into league play now and get into the Big 12 rosters, what you'll see are guys that have transferred from mid-majors most of the time to a Power 5 or Power 5 to Power 5. When you play non-conference low ones, you get schools that you haven't even heard of. I mean, I've been watching this and studying this ever since I was little, college basketball. And it never ceases to amaze me that every season, this time of the year, when you look at scores, you'll see a school and you go like, right? Does that happen to you?
Mm-hmm.
There are teams you go like, what is that? Like, all of a sudden, just throw in like, you just pick up like an old cigarette. Like, Louisiana Monroe played Marlboro. You know, what the? Yeah, had a big game against Lucky Strike. Yeah, Parliament. Where are these schools?
You know, one thing I think is coming, given what you just said, how long until there are general managers for football and basketball?
Absolutely. It's happening.
Because, right, I mean, it's the pro model, it's the free agency, it's assembling the roster. I don't think it'll just be the coach. I mean, I know we have head of recruiting, and recruiting staffs are beefed up, but you're going to see a GM title here soon.
Yep. Today's Sports Business Journal lead paragraph in a story: college athletics are on a likely path toward becoming, let me go back and use the English language. College athletes are on a likely path toward becoming employees of the university. The Supreme Court, the National Labor Relations Board already have declared it at some level. That has left college leaders wondering what this new model will look like and what they should do next. The specter of employee-employer relationships in college athletics is complicated by ongoing legal cases, concerns over the impact of non-revenue producing sports, and changes to the fundamental student-athlete experience. To your point, we're seeing it happen. We are absolutely seeing this happen in front of us. How long? Is it 2, 3, 5, 8, 10? But you're exactly right. These will become professional sports. That's where we're headed, in some form, some fashion.
It's also why we say you've got to adapt to this. If you don't adapt to roster building through this vehicle, it's going to be a challenge, and especially so in basketball. I know we focus so much on football, but basketball is where you can really change the roster, and in some ways, it's not all bad.
Iowa State?
Yeah, I mean, you can get better in a hurry in basketball a lot easier than football with this new approach. Iowa State's the perfect example right now.
Yep. So we'll get into that a little bit. Your questions are coming up from our text line, and this Mountaineer basketball team is now 10-1. They'll be favored to go to 11-1 by the time Christmas arrives. And ever since the season started, I think collectively we have all been trying to put our arms around it, trying to define who these guys are. What team in the past has West Virginia had that reminds you of this team? We've all been trying to do it, I think. And now 11 games in, I am going to put the flagpole down in the dirt and say this.
Oh, okay.
There's never been a team like this. There's never been a team like this for a bunch of different reasons. And that's not a bad thing. That's absolutely not a bad thing. But these cats are unique because every time you look at them and you watch them, you go like, oh, they don't do this. Ugh, they don't do that. They don't do this. They don't. I don't know. And they're 10-1. So I give them tremendous praise for having a great, great refusal to buckle and to accept defeat. I give them huge, huge props for that. With that said, statistically, they make you as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs because you still look at the numbers and go like, how long can you do this?
Well, so far the answer is through 11 games.
Yes.
I almost sent out a tweet on Saturday as I was watching it, and then I just deleted it and didn't. But I'm watching that, and I'm thinking, okay, Taz has done nothing here in the first half. This was your fear, right? That you would get a game. You were so dependent on Taz. You'd get a game where somebody took him out of the game. What would happen? So the tweet was going to be, West Virginia is down 3 at the half. Taz has scored, what was he, 2? He had 2 points at the half.
Mm-hmm.
So you're down 3. Taz has scored 2 in the first half. Does that make you more encouraged or discouraged?
Right.
Because the first part, discouraged, you go, uh-oh, you're in some trouble here. Taz can't get going. They've got him. The flip side was, well, hold on here. The guy that gets seemingly 90% of your points only has 2 and you're only down 3.
Yeah.
So to your point, this team is unbelievable. Super. Can't credit them enough for just winning games. They're the ultimate example of who cares about style points? Who cares what the numbers tell you? What's the scoreboard say at the end of the game? Did you win or did you lose? And all the other stuff we're going to talk about, just throw it out the window. This team embodies that more than any other West Virginia's had. Some of the West Virginia teams would give you this, but at least you hung your hat on, well, I got this many more shots. Hey, how about the defense? Now, this team has some really impressive defensive numbers that we'll get into. But overall, at this point, this is simply sit down and watch them, and did they win at the end of the game? And it doesn't matter how it got there. Doesn't matter how ugly the game was. Doesn't matter how many times you looked at it and said, nope, this is a loss. They're done.
Yeah.
Win at the end of the game, and they've done that 10 of 11 times. Really impressive for this group to have the record it does.
Think about this from Saturday. UAB had the lead for 34 minutes and 48 seconds. So for all but 4 minutes of the game, because it was tied 3 times, West Virginia had the lead for 3 minutes and 59 seconds in the game. West Virginia's biggest lead of the game came with 31 seconds to go when the scoring was over, 65-59. UAB up 10 in the first half and up as many as 9 with 8 minutes to go in the second half. And so you absolutely could say this isn't going to go West Virginia's way. And the numbers statistically, shots attempted, rebounds, turnovers, of which West Virginia had 10 in the first half. There was no way that you're going like, yeah, this is exactly how this thing needs to trend. But Taz and Sean McNeil, who were each held to 2 points in the opening half, combined to score 24 in the second half. And both of those guys had dagger baskets in the late going. People will remember Taz's because he was in the second row behind the expensive seats where he shot his shot for no reason whatsoever. 10 on the clock. Yeah, what the hell? I just fired his baby up there. Hit nothing but the twine. But Sean's, from what I can see, undervalued. He comes across the lane. He just finds, okay, fine, I'm just going to take this. Comes across the lane, gets going to his weak side, his left, and banks it off the glass and draws the foul. That was the massive basket right there. Taz's put him up 4, but Sean's was huge. And so your two guys, even though it was late, they made their plays, and that's how they win the game.
And there's the ultimate benefit with those two guys in particular. We saw it a bunch of times last year, but you also had Deuce to help out, and you had Derek that could go off as well. the thing with them, and so to go back to what that tweet was I was going to send, the answer should have been encouraged, right? Because with those two, they're as streaky and can get as white hot as anybody I can remember playing here. When those two get going, so if you can just stay around and hang around, the chances of one of the two of them getting going are really good, and if both of them get hot, look out.
Yeah. And we'll get into this because there's a text question about this. I think that Huggs is coaching this team differently. So let me try to say this correctly. In the past, the make a mistake, get yanked meter was so much quicker. With these guys, I think he has a good understanding of who and what they are, and it's not like that, right? You know,
Agree, yeah.
And so I think that gives those guys a little bit more comfort. And for Taz and Sean, as a former player and a big shooter yourself, you would love to be one of those two guys because Huggs just says, yeah, if you get it in your hands, front court, go ahead. Let her go.
Even if it's not what we would watch that and go, well, that's not a very good shot. You got to let them do because of what I just said. They're going to get smoking hot here at some point, and you're right. He has handled that really well as you would expect him. Would you like to get into free throws? Did we get 19 texts on free throws? Should we talk about free throws? You want to have a conversation about free throws?
So, again, it was going really, really bad. Think about these numbers, folks. West Virginia finishes the game 17 of 27, which means with 8 minutes and 2 seconds, I shouldn't say that, which means at one point late in the game, they were 8 of 17. They were below 50%.
Mm-hmm.
They end the game 9 of 10 at the foul line. And if you looked at this Mountaineer team, you know this Mountaineer team. Who's the guy you want at the foul line when the game is on the line? Well, of course, it's Kedrian Johnson. He was shooting 46% from free throw line. And what did he do? He just went up and goes, yeah, need to make these? He goes 7 of 8 at the foul line. Taz goes 5 of 6. Sean goes 2 of 3. So that is 14 of 17 among those three players. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Go further. If you include Bridges in that group, 16 of 19 for that group, 84% from your backcourt and your shooters. That's who you need to have it. Do I have this right? They made 9 straight down the final 2:38 of the game.
Very well could have.
You had McNeil 2, Taz 3, Kedrian 4. So you got guys that were hitting at the line. I know what you're saying about Kedrian coming in. You've got to have him make free throws. They did. 1 of 8 from Gabe, Kerrigan, and Polycap. So there's your difference. Again, get the right guys to the line. They came through on that. So credit where that is due. Well done to close that game out with some made free throws.
Kedrian Johnson on the plus-minus scale goes plus 11 in the game, quietly. He also had 4 assists, 0 turnovers, and he also stole the ball twice, and he also had a block in 26 minutes. So huge, huge game for him. Also, again, here's a cat that just continues to quietly, he's not going to make you go like, holy cow, in the box score. Kobe Johnson. He just comes in, and he doesn't screw anything up. And he gave you 7 nice minutes and a bucket. I just think next year, he's going to be a really super solid figure out there for this team because I just love emotion, and he's just totally unfazed.
The Kedrian Johnson one's interesting. It's almost like that Oklahoma State game he had last year where he broke out and carried you and got you the win. I'm not saying you can expect that every night because that's a heck of a stat line you just read off, plus icing the game with all those free throws. But if he can just be in that ballpark and, again, stabilize you at the point guard between him and Curry. We said at the beginning of the year, they both don't have to be all Big 12, but if combined you can get one really solid point guard out of those guys, that's going to go a long way here.
Yeah.
That's a massive – we keep talking about who's the third guy to step up, and it doesn't have to be the same guy every night. This one was Kedrian Johnson to help get you a win.
Big concern throughout the course of the season about West Virginia inside scoring. The Mountaineers finished dead even, points in the paint, 30-30. I thought their 7-footer, Jemison, he was a nice player. Trey Jemison, he finished up. He had 10 points, 12 rebounds, 4 of 7, 2 of 3. I thought he was solid. So he was a big dude. He was legitimate.
He was a big dude.
He's a big dude.
I mean, that was a big dude in there.
Yeah, bench scoring was dead even at 19. Fast breaks were almost even, 12-11. West Virginia got that. Second chance, West Virginia +6, 13-7. So turnovers, at the points off of turnovers, even though UAB did turn it over 15 times, they outscored West Virginia off turnovers 18-12. So add it all up, and because the victory was on the road, West Virginia jumped up well in the net rankings, which is what they needed. And UAB is going to win a lot more games. And so strength of schedule, that's not going to hurt West Virginia as the season goes on. By the way, there was a question, what constitutes a road game? Was that on this show or was that on Sportsline?
Yeah, we talked about it.
So it used to be how far away you are from campus. You know what it is now? Who sells the tickets? So if UAB in this particular game was in charge of selling the tickets, then it's their home game. And so when West Virginia would play in Charleston, because if West Virginia was handling the tickets, let's say they brought in whoever to play, and West Virginia was selling the tickets, it's their home game, even though you're in Charleston. So that's how that works. Who handles the tickets, which makes no sense, but just go with it. It's a true road game.
The defense continues to impress. 1 of 13 from 3 in the second half was UAB.
Mm-hmm.
That's now 8 of 11 opponents that West Virginia has held below 60 points. I mean, think about that. 8 of 11 under 60. Yeah, I mean, you can struggle offensively and from the free throw line and everywhere else. You're doing that. You're keeping teams from scoring 60.
Yeah. That's what I want to get into about these numbers, because there's still some numbers that kind of scare you. So you could be scared because West Virginia is only averaging 69 points a game. That'd make you scared, especially when Kansas is averaging 86, Baylor's averaging 81, Texas averaging 79, Oklahoma 75, Oklahoma State 75, Iowa State 73, TCU 73, Texas 72, Kansas State 71, West Virginia's at 69. So it makes you scared. But West Virginia has held teams to under 61 points a game.
Yeah, 8 of 11 under 60. I mean, that's just remarkable.
So the big test is going to come. Can you guard like
against really good offensive guys? Because it's going to, like, I watched Baylor on Saturday. They went into Oregon and stole one.
Excuse me?
Went in and stole one at Oregon. Well, stole the win and the cover, as some people were paying attention late. By the way, speaking of Oregon, do you think we can – now, it's not going to change because I get why it is what it is, but we probably need to get Robbie Mullins on the phone, Oregon AD, Morgantown native, two-time WVU grad. Can't watch games at Oregon.
You can't bring it up to him. I don't think you could bring it up.
I know. I mean, he can't do anything about it. I know, but
I mean, he can't call up over.
I know. I get it. But, man, have you watched a game there?
I can't
watch. Have you
watch
sat and watched an entire game?
I do. I do with a welder's helmet on. I can't look at it.
Ooh.
I mean, that's been 5-8 years now.
It's been a while.
It's a bad
It's
floor.
a hard one. It's a hard one. Players blending into the trees there. I can't see who's who. Baylor had gray on. I couldn't see them. Made my head hurt. I mean, I love Robbie, doing a great job, but I mean, I get it. But that's a there's some bad floors out there. That's a hard one to watch.
What do you think?
I mean, I watched the whole game, every minute, every basket, because it took till the end there, Tony, to make sure you were clear on that. But
what would Rob say if we did ask him about the floor? He's a good guy. He'd probably
he wouldn't even respond to the text.
He wouldn't. We'll leave that at that. Yeah, it's a bad floor. But it works. I mean, branding-wise, everyone just goes like, who's got the ugliest floor in college basketball? Oregon, right? So it worked from a branding perspective.
I mean, can't they do what they do with their uniforms and change it out like every 2 games?
You'd think. Probably coming pretty soon. We'll have some kind of technology where they'll put some kind of laser lights on the floor and make it look different. Right? Probably.
Please hurry.
So West Virginia wins at 65-59. Let's do a little Youngstown State. Well, let me do this first. Bing, bing, bing. I guess I couldn't sell Comex Business Systems as a Christmas gift, could I? That probably wouldn't be a good Christmas gift.
If you gave it to somebody?
Well, as you know, we have great concern here about people infiltrating computers and businesses and getting into people's systems. So, well, here, you can't even buy a gift certificate for Comex because it's free. Can't like, hey, if you're a business owner, hey, here's a $1,000 gift certificate, and Comex is going to come in there and check your computers out to see if you're safe or not. You don't need a certificate. It's free. They'll come in for $0 and do a complete accounting of your business to make sure that you are safe from attacks. Is your personal data safe? Is your client's personal data safe? Malware and everything else. Are you up to speed? They'll come in and let you know at no cost. Check them out. Go to comaxwv.com. That's comaxwv.com. They are a full-service Konica Minolta dealer, so besides coming in and doing all the hardware and looking at your software, they've got any kind of printer you can imagine and all of the gear you need. Visit them. They're a great sponsor. Comax Business Systems, located here in West Virginia. comaxwv.com. If you do get busted, if someone comes in and gets you and you lose your mind and say, we got, I mean, I don't want to say we told you, but Senator, we've been telling them. Take it serious. What are the numbers showing on your double secret triple analytics on number one, either this team or on the Youngstown Staters?
So this is another one of those spots. This feels similar to Kent State. You're coming off an emotional big win, and now you return home against an opponent that you look at and think you should beat. So a little bit of a flat spot here for West Virginia. It helps that you're at home, but a little bit of a flat spot potentially, I think. Youngstown State, 5 straight wins. They're stepping up in class. West Virginia, by far the best opponent that Youngstown has faced. They played Penn State to open the season, who's 87th in Ken Palm, got beat by 16 in the opening game at Penn State.
Yeah, and the thing you got to worry about, to your point about a flat spot, this is one of the hardest games of the year because the kids know they're going home after the game.
Correct.
And some of them actually depart about 6 or 8 hours before the game's played.
Yeah.
That's
your
problem.
To it, yes.
Well, I mean, no, not physically. They're still there on the floor, but their head's gone. And so you do have to be careful here because, like you said, Jared Calhoun can sell it to his team. Here, you want to get yourself a nice Christmas gift. You want to get yourself a big harvest here. These guys probably aren't respecting you. Come on in here and ball out and see what happens. So you got to be careful.
Can't turn it over here. They don't turn it over much. So that's going to be the key. Can West Virginia do what it does against teams? Here's another interesting stat, courtesy of Haslametrics. Very good site. West Virginia is 10th nationally. Let me make sure I get this right. 10th nationally in potential quick points off of steals. So it's scoring quickly off of steals. It's getting the ball and it's turning that directly into points.
Right.
So you turn it over against West Virginia, as we've seen. That's one of those stats that backs up what you've seen. You turn it over against West Virginia, you're in some trouble. So that'll be a key. Can you get Youngstown State to turn it over because this is the toughest competition they've faced so far?
Yeah. Special game for Kobe Johnson and Seth Wilson, you'd think. 2 Ohio guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think Hugs gives them a little bit extra run?
Sure.
I think so.
Sure.
Come on, let's go. And I think he'll have a quicker pull trigger if you don't go out there and play really hard. So this could be one of those games before you get your first media timeout. If someone's ding-donging around, it was just, go.
He's been among the many things that Hugs is good at on the sidelines, identifying the flat spot and making an early adjustment to his team when they might be in a flat spot. He's on that one, right? That'll be, yeah, you're right. That's the quick, get him out. Get him out.
He's funny, man.
Should be able to get some threes. I said this against UAB. You should have been able to. I mean, you got some threes. You didn't make any. Well, West Virginia.
I didn't think they got really hardly any good. I thought those guys guarded well.
They did guard pretty well.
It was hard to get threes.
That was an anomaly because that's what was open against them. Teams had been able to shoot the three. It's the same thing with Youngstown State. Can you knock them down? Just 2 of 13 against UAB.
You're right. They ran. I thought they did a really good job against Taz and against Sean. Let's face it, they knew. And that was hard. But you know what West Virginia did? Jordan Walker, their super fast little water bug guy. So West Virginia's plan was, okay, we don't care who, but by the end of the game, we're going to make this dude as physically fatigued as possible. They ran after him the whole game. Now, he got his, but I don't know if you looked. He goes 6 of 20, 1 of 9 from 3, and turned it over 7 times. So they just said, like, this is the guy that runs their ship. Make him miserable. And they attacked and attacked and attacked.
And West Virginia's been good at that. You saw that against Oakland, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Took their point guard out of the game. So that's been the key. And that's what you're going to get. You may run into some of these teams that others are shooting well against from 3, but the defensive game plan, if I'm Andy Kennedy in that game, I make that a point of emphasis. Run West Virginia off the line and don't let those guys take a shot. will Jared's team be able to do that? Because teams have been making threes against him.
What'd you think of the whistle?
I mean, West Virginia was plus what at the free throw line in terms of points? Plus 10?
10, I think. 17.
And that's while shooting 63%. So that's that stat that we go back to over the years. If West Virginia ends up plus double digits from the line, not attempts, but plus double-digit points from the line, I'm not going to complain about a whistle.
Yeah. Well, it's just a solid point. It's a solid point. But I do enjoy the head coach's in-game commentary. You know, sometimes just kind of talks to himself, you know, as he walks down the sideline. And if they could just have that on tape, you could have a Netflix special that would be just like really good. Really, really good. Text coming up in just a couple of hairs. I don't know about you, but Brad and I are going to spend Christmas Day inside of a recreational vehicle at Burdett Camping. Going in. We're going to spend it in Winfield. Phil, the proprietor there, is going to put a big ribbon on a big RV. We're just going to sit in there and watch football. No, not really, but Burdett Camping Center has been with us since Three Guys started, and they have gone over the top when it comes to giving you great opportunities, promotions, a lot of fun stuff. We'll start to do that again when the turn of the year comes. But if you're in the market for recreational vehicle, whether it be a brand new vehicle, pre-owned, parts, sales, service, do check them out at burdettcamping.com, located in Winfield, or on the website burdettcamping.com. That's 2 T's, and they are next to each other, burdettcamping.com. The only warranty RV dealer in the state of West Virginia that the warranty lasts forever. We do have a name for the show. It's called Road Fun and Previewing Penguins, but Josh and Mason said, I have your next nickname for the show. Blazers printed in Birmingham, like the Tracy Lawrence song. You familiar with that limerick?
I'm not.
Nah, me neither. Hey, 3 gents before the game, Jay and Richmond checking in. Your discussion on the amphibious punter from down under took me back to 1986. Number 1 Miami comes in, Vinny Testaverde, quarterback, Dad, and my 11-year-old self in our seats, and the minute the gates opened and taking in the pregame warm-ups was the norm. Out-tossing passes, 40, 50, 60 yards easily downfield was Testaverde. Vinny certainly looked the part. It was then my dad noticed he was doing it left-handed and said, I don't think he's left-handed. Sadly, he was right. He wasn't left-handed. Though after the 58-14 final, we were wishing he would have played left-handed to keep us within 3 TDs. Merry Christmas to Mountaineers, wherever you may be. Yeah, that was a bad Saturday. That was a bad Saturday for the world champion Mountaineers. Oof. That was hard. That was hard. Hey, guys, Merry Christmas. Apparently, I missed the episode where you discussed homegrown pizza. I caught the reference on today's show. Knowing that you're fans, I could use your help. You've heard of Christmas in July. I'm pushing for Thanksgiving in June. If you haven't had the Thanksgiving pizza, you're completely missing out. I think Morgantown needs the pizza more than once per year. Let's get CP and the team over at Homegrown on board. So what do they do, a Thanksgiving pizza?
I've not had that. You would think that's right up my alley, too. I've not had that.
So they probably went turkey.
But what else?
Stuffing.
And mashed potatoes, potentially?
Probably a gravy.
A little gravy on there?
Maybe a cranberry.
Be hard to keep the crust at a point where you could lift it. That's a heavy pizza there.
No, you could do that. Yeah.
I'd certainly try it.
Well, if anyone's
hard to get me away from their slaughterhouse pizza, though, with all the meats on there.
Well, if they're listening, just let us know. I think they should do more seasonal pizzas. You know? You got a Valentine's Day pizza coming up.
Oh, they're great about specials. They'll drop you a pizza of the week now that's different. They're not afraid of the
would they do
unusual pizza.
Would they do chocolate for a Valentine's?
Oh, I don't know if they would or not.
I think you could do that.
They're probably listening right now. We'll hear from him.
Hoppy's not here, but this was directed to him by Charlie. He said, hey, Hop, Bucky Bolliard, class of 59 from Aurora, could pitch with either hand, lettered in baseball and basketball. Yeah, absolutely. Jack Fleming used to call Bucky Bolliard the Aurora Borealis. And they said he was quite an athlete. Here we go. You ready for this one? This is from Jason in Dallas, who identifies himself as a premier listener. Really appreciate Hoppy not wanting to end a sentence with a preposition. though I don't think that's an official grammatical rule, but it should be. Another one that should be is pronouncing the as the instead of the when the subsequent word begins with a vowel. In other words, the office instead of the office. That drives me nuts. How can people not hear how horrible that sounds? You're a world famous banjo player, Tony, kind of. Saying the office sounds like a musician mistakenly making a note staccato instead of legato in the middle of a legato run. Thank you, Brad, for the explanation of the Kem Palm luck statistic. It made me think of the luck our football team had in, I think, 2014 regarding fumbles. Pretty sure that's the year we forced 18, only recovered 2. How's that possible?
Mm-hmm.
Love the Morgantown song. People can say what they want, but WVU has produced more Rhodes Scholars than Northwestern by far. So in my classy and educated opinion, the academic snobs can suck it.
It's a strong email.
Speaking of Sunnyside, the Sunnyside Superette was only about 20 steps away when I lived on Grant by the Summit my senior year. That's the only place I've ever seen beer 30, and people always think I'm making it up when I mention it. I think it was about $3 a case, which was way overpriced, but it got the job done. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You guys can always earn your beer.
Strong one from Jason.
Good job.
Now, is that true that more Rhodes Scholars or more Rhodes Scholar candidates?
Well, yeah, let's not get there.
Okay.
So if you're a Rhodes Scholar candidate, you never won it, right?
I think you're just a candidate. Like, you can be a Heisman candidate, but
You
doesn't
didn't
mean you're the
win
Heisman winner, I think.
Some people don't correct people. They just kind of.
I'm not quite sure of the rules.
So as time goes on, they just take the candidate off, or they just say Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah, something like
Yeah, that wouldn't happen. 3 guys. Rich from Indianapolis here. I was fortunate enough to be in the great state last week visiting my mother. She's a dedicated coffee clatcher. I listened with her, and we got updated on PEIA. Is that a soccer league? Just wondering. Merry Christmas to all.
This show has some strong.
Yeah, I got a really smart, intelligent
Strong
listener
audience.
base. Greetings from York, PA. I ever tell you my York, PA story?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Are you about to?
Really, I'll do the quick version. So I interviewed for a job in York, Pennsylvania when I graduated from college.
Okay.
And after I did the interview, I thought I was going to get the job. And between like a day or two, I get a call from a guy named Hoppy Kirchville. And I never heard about anyone named Hoppy. And he says, I've got a job opportunity in Morgantown, West Virginia. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but I've got a job in York, Pennsylvania. Not interested because it's a news job that Hoppy was pitching.
But you didn't have the job yet in York. You just interviewed.
Thought I did. And they called in York and
So
said,
you were just a candidate. You hadn't actually got the job yet.
kind of like a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a job candidate. I wasn't a
But
job.
you clearly weren't a Rhodes Scholar because you didn't know the difference between being interviewed and getting the job. But anyway.
Yeah, so after the York thing didn't happen, I called him back and said, yeah, I'm really interested in your job. True story. So I almost lived in York.
Now, did you just not get the job at York, or did you withdraw your name from consideration, as we sometimes see in athletics?
Didn't get it. Greatest thing that ever happened to me.
It was. That's a fortuitous bounce there.
Yeah. Coach Potts writes in from York, PA. I talked to my friend who coached Jaheim White, running back from York High. He had very high praise for Chad Scott and the rest of the staff. He said the climb must be trusted. Number 2, thinking about Hugs and Oscar made me wonder how the relationship is between Hugs and Coach Cal. I can imagine it would be awkward, but maybe it's just the new norm. Number 3, I just read the new book about the Big East, wonderfully written with great memories. I wish that all of the Eastern schools would form a league. Pipe dream, I know, but gosh darn, that UConn game had me fired up like a couch on Grand Avenue. 4, finally, when are we going to get a book about Hugs? Tony, seriously, I hope that you are already starting chapter 1. I want new inside stories, as well as the old ones about no rear view mirrors, making shots, and you can't cheat the game, Tony. I enjoy the show. Let's go, Mountaineers. Thank you, Coach Potts. Might have been a neighbor of his. Who knows, right? Years later. Mountaineer Nation, Ben in Dallas. Shout out to Brian in Charlottesville and James in Radford. I'm so proud of you both, and thank you sincerely, 3 guys. I can't wait to celebrate the Big 12 title with everyone listening soon. What a wild year. Thanks for the memories. Happy holidays to the legends, Scope, Senator, and Harvey. Tony, remind everyone to trust the climb. Ben in Dallas. Hey, guys, Brian in Williamstown here. Glad the Hall's chocolates got to you and everyone had a chance to eat some.
Thank you, Brian.
Apparently, this is turning into Tony's new podcast where everyone mails him delicacies from around the state and country. Not a bad gig there, Scopes. That was always the master plan. Anyways, a question for you all. If you had to pick one former WVU basketball player from Huggs' tenure to add to the current roster, who would you pick and why? Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoyed the chocolates. My favorite are the Irish cream truffle and the Grand Marnier. Brian, thank you so much for that chocolate. It is absolutely fantastic. You just tell, I mean, there's a difference between chocolates. And when you taste chocolate, most chocolate, then you get some of the stuff that's like real, which Hall's is like, that's like, woof. So thank you very much.
It was smooth. Mine was gone before the show ended.
If I had to pick a former WVU player to add to the current roster, who would it be? Probably go Deshaun, right?
Probably.
You imagine Taz, Deshaun, Sean.
You know, you're so close to that. If you had Deuce for another year, I mean, he would obviously be way up the list. You could add a Devin Ebanks and hold teams to 32.
Yeah,
you
you're
could
right.
Just go straight defense.
Because that would help your rebounding a ton too. If you had Deuce right now, I think you could walk across opposing teams' floors on your way out and drag your heel over their logo.
Say thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to see you. So thank you very much, Brian, home of the Yellow Jackets. Mo in Morgan County. On the issue of paying college athletes last week, Brad said, paraphrasing, the duffel bag of money was always there. The only difference now is that the duffel bag is in the open. Wondering if you agree that the difference between collegiate athletics as practiced today in Morgantown and politics as practiced today in Charleston is that the duffel bag of money in Charleston is still not out in the open. Mo in Morgantown. So he would be asking us to make a political comment. Brad and I don't go there. We don't live in that world. When the coffee clatcher comes back, he'll be in on Thursday. Totally. Would you save that question for him?
Yeah, we'll try and remember that. You know, speaking of duffel bags of money out in the open, saw a report today. The NC State ruling is due out Monday. We record this on Monday. Due out Monday.
Due out today.
Yeah, due out today, which is an interesting one because that's that board that there's no appeal. You take it off the NCAA, right? You go to that no appeal. Yeah. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
So let's see what that is. See if that's like a, what do you mean? Like a suspension maybe for the first 2 media timeouts of a game. $12.50 fine. You get a half a pizza post game instead of a full per player. One of those deals, or if you're going to step up and have a little teeth.
So this is the Godfrey thing.
Yeah. So who's still coaching, I think, right?
Yes, he is out west. Do they go over and they give him a little show cause? Can you do that?
Part of the question. That's a great. He is still actively coaching, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because if he is, and this ruling comes down that NC State gets hammered, but the coach that was in charge of the program that's going to be named in this is still actively able to coach at another school, then you haven't moved the ball down the field at all, have you?
Yeah. Checking the Wikipedia here.
Or did they move him? They move on from him last year.
Cal State Northridge, it says 2018 to present. It says he's coaching. So he's a coach there. Looks like.
At Cal State Northridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. Head coach Mark Godfrey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is Cal State Northridge staring down the barrel of an interim coach then? Anyway, point being, that comes down today. It's the first from that group, which is where Kansas's case is, correct? And LSU, if I'm not mistaken, both of those reside there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep an eye on that.
He's not doing well there.
Oh, really?
37 and 51 according to the numbers there. What do you think? What do you think? Getting some bad bounces?
I don't know. Probably just not as lucky as he was before. Don't have any answer as to why he wouldn't be as successful at Cal State Northridge. No clue as to why that would be.
You ever think there's a direct correlation between coaches that cheat like bandits and then they stop cheating like bandits, and then when they go to the other schools, they just don't have that same level of success?
Allegedly.
Allegedly?
Allegedly. I mean, he hasn't gotten a show cause.
Well, I wasn't talking about him. I'm talking about
just
other
in general?
In general.
No correlation. Nope.
Yeah, guys tap the brakes a little bit. Things just don't happen as well. Yeah, well. Meanwhile, Tony, is there any way you can listen to the WV? Yeah. Is there any way I can listen to the radio broadcast of WV basketball games online for free? Yes. On your phone, download the Varsity app. Varsity app. Download that. You get everything you need for free. Hot Rod, Woodbridge, Virginia. Hey, Tony, Brad Hoppy, UAB was painful to listen to, but you got to love the resiliency. Maybe West Virginia's found its third scorer and confident free throw shooter. You got to think those free throws are going to lose some close games. I don't care if they win ugly. As long as they win, just keep winning. Yeah. Hey, three guys. Phil from Perryopolis here. Hello. Is it me, or does Huggs really like this team? He seems a lot calmer on the bench. He's letting the team play out of its deficits. No panic timeouts. Personally, they seem to play tough, seem to be getting better playing together. Just wondering, are your all's thoughts? Yeah, I think we said that earlier, that he knows what he has, and, yeah, you got to adjust to what you have. And so, yeah, I think he's doing that. I think he is doing that. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Todd in Missouri. Two questions. One deals with basketball. The other is the Big 12 network on Sirius. Do you have any insight into Cottrell and Bridges? They show flashes, but my confidence isn't growing that they're going to step up and take over a game, ultimately the program moving forward. Something's missing. Hashtag treadmill mentality. Hashtag junkyard dog. Am I the only one that thinks Big 12 Network on Sirius needs a name change? They should rename it the Boomer Horns Network, as it seems that's all they ever discuss. And they're leaving the conference to boot. Hashtag Rodney Dangerfield. Hashtag no respect. To your second point, I don't know. I never listen. To your first point, I think that both of those guys, yeah, I mean, and Isaiah still is very early because of the injury and totally trusting himself as far as getting back from the injury. It hasn't even been 1 year yet. I think it was the 29th, if I'm not mistaken, of last year. So, yeah, I think both those guys are growing. Jalen absolutely does show flashes, and it just comes. It comes in time. Some guys go quicker than the others, but, yeah, you see that it's there for those guys. And I think that once they fully appreciate what it is that they can do, I think they will become more demonstrative.
And those are two guys, if you look at this team that's finding ways to win now and you ask, can it keep going with the talent you're going to face? If those guys kick in and start going, then that would be huge for this group. Jalen more so than Isaiah. You're right. I mean, the expectations on Isaiah should be down this year, given it's his first true year at this level. But both of those guys, pro talent, as we've talked about.
Yeah. John in Oklahoma City, a number of guys have pulled their name from the portal. Would you name any of our guys back if they wanted to return? Senator?
It depends on the circumstances of leaving. I mean, potentially.
I'd have to look at it.
They handled it, and it depends on what the reasons are for leaving.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They say 600 guys didn't get picked up.
Is that what the number is?
I heard. Yeah, 600 guys.
But they're still, I mean, they can get picked up at any time here.
Yes, but 600 are just kind of floating around in the portal cloud. Corey in Washington, D.C., because of the COVID year, am I correct in thinking Kedrian has another year of eligibility left? Any idea if he'll come back? Seems like he could be a real leader and difference maker with another year. I think he's done, isn't he?
You're the one that has to track eligibility. I can't keep track of anybody. I don't know what year anybody is. I'm out. You just tell me when they have a year left.
I mean, what do you mean by that?
I can't keep track of it. I don't know. I mean, it's super seniors, COVID seniors, 6 years, 7th years, guys transferred multiple. I don't have any idea of eligibility. It's really thrown me off.
Corey, I got to get you a better answer. I'll find out. But for some reason in my head, I think this is it. I have to go back and look. Was he 2 JC? He would have more than that. He had to go somewhere before that. We'll do a check. Keep this in mind, folks. Caesars Sportsbook, ready to help you enjoy the Mountaineer Bowl game. As you all know, West Virginia and the Golden Gophers of Minnesota are coming up, and they've got a special for you. How about this? You place a point spread wager on the game between WVU and Minnesota, and whether your bet wins or loses, you will get a free bet bonus equal to the longest touchdown scored by your team. You ready for this? So West Virginia, hypothetically, the bigger the play, the bigger the bonus. 70-yard touchdown gets you a $70 free bet bonus. Okay. So make sure you've downloaded, registered, and deposited with the app. Get started with a fresh free bet. And, of course, check the app out for daily promos, boosts, and sweeps. Enjoy the game. So there you go. Special promo. You place a bet on West Virginia and Minnesota. You get a free bet bonus equal to the longest touchdown scored by the team that you wager on.
The Minnesota Golden Gophers, I got excited. I saw a headline this morning, Monday, as we record. Blaze Andres, big offensive lineman, declaring for the NFL draft. I thought, so wait. Go ahead and just move on there, big fella. Go get your workout in after the bowl game.
Yeah. Dog. Today was their day. Did he get any others?
I didn't see any others.
Didn't see any others.
No. So he's going to give it one last shot. I was hoping he would go ahead and begin his NFL workouts. He's their highest graded offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Of which they've got a really, really strong line.
They got a couple guys that block out the sun, right?
Yeah, they got
huge
dudes.
Guys. Must be 21 on that Caesars promotion, by the way. Offer valid in West Virginia only. Free first cast wager on qualifying games only. Paid in bet credit. Bet credit must be used within 7 days of receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly.
Yeah, he's one, and he's not their biggest. 6'6", 335.
So here's the deal. Our producer, Mark Spruill, listening to the program across the wall, says Kedrian Johnson is done after this year. He played a season at St. Peter's before 2 years at Temple, JUCO. So let's do the math, though.
That's 3.
That's 3. He played here last year.
4.
But it didn't count.
3.
This year counts.
4.
He's done.
So he's done.
Sorry, Corey. Don't mean to be a downer for your thought, but yeah, I thought all the way that that's what it's going to be. Hey, a friend of the program, Josiah Davis, had a good one there on Saturday.
He did,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Friday night, I should say.
Yeah, I think it was Friday.
Friday night, yeah, good game, and he matched up with it's Isaac, right? McNeely?
Isaac McNeely, yeah,
yep,
from Poca.
Isaac McNeely.
Yeah, he had a big game, too. That was a fun matchup.
I watched the highlights there. Joe Mercado providing those. They went back and forth.
They did.
When you take a look at Josiah Davis's body build, Kobe Johnson's body build, Seth Wilson's body build, right?
They don't look like youngins.
They don't look like youngins. They wear big pants.
Yes.
They're just like, they don't need to, sometimes those guys got to fold it over a couple times.
Sure.
And tighten. They'll fill their pants. I mean, they're not. They got some big backsides, which is good. You got to have that. You got to have that. So you'll have some big butt. The big butt. I think that's what it might be. The big butt backcourt starting next season. Hey, 3 guys. My wife and I are going to Texas over Christmas break, visiting Waco and Austin, and going to the WVU versus Texas basketball game. Any recommendations on places to eat in Waco or Austin? I'm going to give you 2, one in each city. Waco, you want to get a true, really good feel. Go to George's, just the way it sounds. George's, that's kind of the Waco place. Kind of just, it's casual, but it's good food. And also good coffee place there downtown, Dichotomy.
Now, Chip and Joanna own both of those, or none of those?
Neither.
Oh, okay.
Neither. George's is the place. They did all the food for the Bush families when they were presidents. Did all the catering for the Bush family because Crawford, Texas, not far from Waco. Of course, you knew that. And in Austin, a little bit out of the city, Valentina's barbecue. Valentina's Tex-Mex barbecue. I've said it. Best I've ever had. Best I've ever had. I don't know if it was just the day, the climate, what it was, but it's the best I've had. I would check that out. We're back, right? Thursday.
Correct.
This is what we're doing. Thursday, we are doing our preview of the bowl game because as well-heeled listeners, we figured that you would want to just kind of listen to it over and over and over and over before the bowl game. And then next week after the bowl game, we will release, so the game is, 28?
Yeah, so it's kind of the same timing as our normal Thursday preview, just a couple days before the game.
Yeah, but we're only doing one show next week.
Correct.
Last day of the last show
well,
of the year.
one show next week, yes.
Yes, and that's going to be a best of show. We've taken the elements from our year and put them together from the interviews and perhaps some moments that went off the rails. That's coming up next week. I think we're dropping it on the 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what our plan is. So preview of the bowl game this Thursday. Probably want to listen to it on Christmas Eve while your family's gathered around the table, or Christmas Day during dinner.
Sure.
I would probably have that on a
Probably
big...
just bark out to Alexa at that point, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wait till everybody's seated.
Yeah.
Has their plates.
You say grace, and then you say, Alexa, play the most recent 3 guys before the game. And then your family can listen to the show while you're having, which is the way you probably should do it. So that's our plan. Thanks so much for listening to us. Again, Brian, thanks for that chocolate. It's tremendous.
Strong.
Brad shared none with his wife. Just ate it all here, stuffing it in his face in the parking lot. I thought it was embarrassing. 3 Guys brought to you by West Virginia Game Changers, supporting and encouraging young people throughout West Virginia to build healthy, addiction-free lives. You can help West Virginia families, children becoming a game changer. Go to wvgamechanger.com. By Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettcamping.com. By Comax Business Systems, they happen to be your full-service Konica Minolta dealer. Go to Comax Business Systems at comaxwv.com. and they will take care of whatever you may need. And by Caesars Sportsbook, download and get started with a risk-free bet of up to $1,001 in free money. And by the way, over the weekend, our producer, Taylor Kennedy, graduated from WVU. I received this email on Saturday, Brad, from longtime podcast listener John S. Marshall. I met Tyler Consolidated Kennedy following graduation. Sandy and I attended. We saw to see our neighbor graduate. I heard Taylor's name announced, recognized it immediately. Sorry, but his on-air moniker was not used. Afterward, awaiting the Blue Gate to meet Stephanie, when Taylor walked by, I introduced myself, told him he will continue working with you. That's absolutely freaking questionable.
Because I think he left straight from the Coliseum, and we've not seen him nor heard from him.
You know, most guys when they graduate, they start a new job, and the employer tells them when they'll start working. Normally, the graduate doesn't tell the employer, "Hey, I'm going to be gone for about 10 days."
Here's my schedule. Yeah. And then, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, right? I mean, because he's not around.
Yeah. I'm hearing from the guy that's not here with us today, probably didn't go over well. Probably didn't go over well, but that's all right. Hey, if this isn't Taylor's first job, it was his last job before graduation, so he's got that going for him. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being with us. 3 Guys before the game, over and out. See you.